Welcome to Short Film Universe, the show that celebrates the art of short filmmaking. Join us as we take you on a journey through the exciting world of independent film. In each episode, I'll be interviewing some of the most innovative directors, producers, and filmmakers in the business, getting their insight and perspective on the craft of short filmmaking. We'll look at drama, comedy, documentaries, even mockumentaries, and all the genres that make up this exciting industry. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be entertained. This is ennamorgan inviting you to join us at Short Film Universe. Good morning. We are live here in 1061 Studios in Atlanta. Thank you for joining us on Short Film Universe. Today is Memorial Day, and we'd like to take a moment to say thank you to our service members. And you know, for me, although this is a Memorial Day holiday in the United States, as someone who has served in the military for 7 years, and I know what it takes to be in the military, I would love to say thank you to all the service members around the globe. This show is about global connection, global collaboration, global unity. So I would like to extend this to all service members, all of those who are giving their lives around the world for their country, for love of country, for the mission. Thank you. I'd like to also take this moment to thank all those who've served, veterans like myself, and especially to remember those who died for the country. Thank you to all veterans, service members, and those who gave their life. So if we can observe a moment to remember those, a moment of silence to remember those who have served and who've died. Thank you for joining me in that moment. So, in the spirit of Memorial Day, I am in full regalia, red, white, and blue. And because we're also taking you to Beijing today, Beijing, China, I reckon what best to wear than recognize the country that I've also spent 5 years working in, China. So again, I'm in full regalia, you know, drizzle me with some stars and call me the Star-Spangled Banner. So what I want to do today, we're honoring those who've served in the military. Now, when you think military, you think action, you think defense, you think war, you think action. What you don't think is risk. And this is, you know, as Kakao, who's a veteran in the film industry, he has mentioned that in action, one of the things that we don't think about at all is the injury sustained by those who are in action. Let's think for a second those who are in combat. According to the House Armed Services Committee, more than, or nearly, I don't want to misquote them, nearly 4 times more of the accidents happen in training than in combat. Now that's a significant amount. And I know that the veterans who are out there, they totally understand what I'm talking about. So what we don't think about when we think of action, we don't think about risk. And that is perhaps one of the areas that we try to not think about and suppress, because the action is beautiful and we enjoy it, just as we do in the film industry. Now, I know I don't need to get deep in details as to all the accident that happens on set with stunt performers. I know we don't see headlines about it, And in fact, little known fact that you may not know, have you ever seen an Oscar award for a stunt choreographer or performer? Well, I haven't. And you know why you haven't? Because it doesn't exist. There is no award given for stunt performers. But the interesting thing about it is that if you think of the top genre that's out there in the box office, what comes to mind? Have you Googled that? Action. Yes, action films. And the reality is, without the action, there is no film. And without those stunt performers and the choreographers, there is no film, there is no action. So this entire segment, we at 1061 Studios, we would like to dedicate this in honor of the stunt performers, the stunt choreographers, the people who lay their lives on the line every day. As Carrot says, that it is the only job in the entire world where there's 100% injury rate. Think about that for 1 second. 100% injury rate. So when these people get on a set or in the military, you get on the line, it's guaranteed 100%. There's going to be an injury. So we would like to take this entire segment and honor those. Hollywood, are you listening? We are honoring those stunt performers today who put their lives on the line to bring you those wonderful action films. And as you know, this show is dedicated to highlighting filmmakers. We are here to promote cross-cultural collaboration, global collaboration with filmmakers, and we're also a portal for the exchange of ideas and instruction across borders. So in honor of the stunt performers, the stunt choreographers, and those people who lay their lives on the line every day to bring you these wonderful films, we would like to go all the way to Beijing, China. Yes, the motherland of Kung Fu and Tai Chi. We are taking you all the way to Beijing today to honor a master in the art of mixed martial arts, and he doesn't limit himself to one thing. He is, well, I should shut up and just let the tapes play after. I'll let him introduce himself, and then you will see the mastery of the man, Troy Sandford. Troy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, and I can hear you perfectly. Thank you. That's.
Ni hao ma.
I think that's the best introduction. Ni hao ma. You want me to speak Chinese to everyone?
Well, we're going to China, so we give a bit of an introduction. It's been a long time, or shall we say in Chinese, Hao Zhu Bujian. It's been a long time. Yes. How have you been?
Good. Yeah, I've been doing well. How are you doing there?
I'm doing fantastic, and I know you've been doing well because I've been following you. Even though we haven't seen each other in over 5 years, I've been keeping up with you. You're a phenomenally busy fellow. So tell us, now you were born in Zimbabwe, again, a very global fellow in himself. Born in Zimbabwe, you grew up in Australia, and then you came to Beijing, China, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about that journey.
Before I continue, I would like to, as it's your Memorial Day, I take that quite seriously as well. In fact, I consider myself a student of war. Some of my favorite texts and books, which I have in my library over there, are from some of your country's fine servicemen. And I would like to take the time to express my gratitude. And I'm so honored to hear how you talk about your country and your countrymen. And I'm not surprised, Enna, to hear that you're a veteran, but I wasn't aware that you served, actually. So, yes. Needless to say, I think that America houses the greatest fighting force on earth, in my opinion. I'm an African-born turned European Australian, and I think that the United States legendary Marines, for me, I call them the modern-day Spartans, and your Rangers are formidable. I've trained a couple of Rangers here in Beijing before, and in the U.S. Embassy here, I've had some of the greatest training memories of my life with these Rangers, and they've been some of the greatest athletes I've worked with, and it was an honor to be a part of their journey for the time that they were here serving America in the embassy. And the United States, the U.S. Navy SEALs for me are legendary, and I'm dying to go and beg them to let me run their awesome obstacle course. It would be such a dream come true for me. So with all that said, my uncle, he's ex-SAS, and my father, he fought in the Rhodesian War as well. He hunted terrorists. So my family are military as well. And so I suppose it cuts deep to the bone. My master in Australia, when he passed away, sometime later, within the next year after his untimely death, his son was a serviceman for the Australian forces. And as you say, he died in a training exercise. So within the year post my teacher's death, his only remaining son, the car flipped in a training exercise when he was in a Humvee, and he passed away due to that as well. So it is a dangerous trade, and God bless all you warriors out there, and thank you, Enna, for starting off the communication in that manner. It's an honor for me to be involved in any way whatsoever. So God bless all the servicemen. They're my heroes, and everyone out there who's fighting the good fight and doing it on the basis of truth and honesty. I think this is the most important thing. And it was very difficult for me as a young man to decide to go to China and pursue martial arts in a traditional way and not join the forces myself. That was a dream for me to go down that path, and my father, he talked me out of it. I don't know if it was the right thing, because now it seems I spend all my time reading historical military texts, and I've become somewhat of an avid fan of explicitly French and American historical cultural warfare. I don't know why. It's one of my hobbies, and yeah. So thank you very much. Anyway, I think we should proceed with the
You are most welcome.
regular.
And thank you also. I know it's midnight for you over there, and I know you trained all day today, and it's not easy to come, because, you know, I just learned about you also. I mean, we've known each other for a while, and I've worked with you, and you've trained me, and we've had long conversations, and it's the first I'm learning also about your military background, and that doesn't surprise me, because Troy, you know, as I've told you before, you are super intense, passionate about what you do. You are one of the hardest working martial artists that I know in the business. You just come from such a militant level, so I am not at all surprised that this is a family trait. Not at all surprised about that. But so I want to say thank you again. You're such a trooper. You came from a full day's work that started early this morning, and you were quite willing to jump on, because you know we have this live streaming show. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate that. What I want to ask you, because you're one of your influence growing up to get into martial arts is Ninja Turtles. So I'm going to say, Troy, tell us how you got from Ninja Turtles. I mean, you're working with Michael Wong, Daniel Lee, Jackie Chan, Keanu Reeves. How does, and you've done this in such a short time. You started only in 2013 that you set up in Beijing. So this is remarkable, it's phenomenal. Tell us that journey. Going from Ninja Turtle to Jackie Chan.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable truths. So forgive me if I give too much of the truth away.
Sure,
I don't mean to upset
please,
anyone,
yes.
but I'm very direct.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was a kid, 4 years old, saw the Ninja Turtles, changed my life. I knew I just wanted to pursue martial art more than anything. And my mother, she stopped me from training martial arts specifically Chinese Kung Fu. She thought it was too violent and she didn't want me to pursue that. Anyway, as soon as I became 16 or 17, I was able to get a job, make my own money, and I could acquire a vehicle of sorts, and then I could travel 40 minutes to the closest Chinese Kung Fu center. From there, I fell in love with it all. I was an actor in Australia at the time, just taking commercial work as much as I could, going to as many castings as I could. I trained under Leela Hayes. She's quite well known in the industry there, and she has some international clout as well. You can Google her later. Mm-hmm. She was one of the stars on Sons and Daughters. So she was my drama mentor, my theatrical mentor in Australia. I was very lucky to have such a great lady infuse the love and passion that she had for drama in my heart. And so that came before my serious beginnings in the martial arts. So I was always an actor and working in film, or at least trying to make my own films, even before I left high school. So the first film I ever made was a skateboard video, and it went a little bit viral in my surrounding suburban area. At the time, the technology to create a DVD was brand new. So I made this film. We mass-produced DVDs. I'm not going to say what the name of the film is. And then I started selling it for $10. And everyone in my high school, they bought that film. And then after high school finished, some kids kept pirating it. And I think it's still circulating around North Rocks, Carlingford area even today. I get some messages on Facebook. So that was the first film I did. And after that, I then transferred into martial art. And there was a moment where I just decided one day I would dedicate my entire focus in being to martial arts. And I discovered that I loved the martial art more than anything. And so then I started to kind of think, well, how can I pursue the martial art and find a way to finance that? And I thought that by doing film, it would allow me to be a kid forever and continue to train martial arts and then get paid for it. So that was the big plan. And so anyway, I took a leap of faith, and my dream was to, whenever I become interested in something, what I've discovered at my age now, it doesn't matter what it is. If I take an interest in it, I'm like a sniper. I have complete focus and drive to just get that one thing and get it as good as I possibly can achieve or understand it or consume it or absorb it. And whether that means I'm talented in that area or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just completely all about that one thing. And so that took me to China. There was no other way. It's like my skill level in my academy in Australia was growing, and I had to eventually go to China. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, I went to China, where I was no longer the big fish in the small pond. I was now the small fish in the big pond. And I very quickly met some film contacts. I think there was this one lady training in the mountains in Ermeishan when I was in Chengdu with some monks. And I'm the only other foreigner there. We meet, we talk, we make good friends. I was down in the city, injured my back, met another lady. She introduced me to the legendary Mike Leader. He got me a gig with Keanu Reeves. I opened up Keanu Reeves' Man of Tai Chi, and that was in the first year of me leaving Chengdu, straight to Beijing. I got that job, went to Hollywood, got to spend time with the guys who did the John Wick films there. I'm very blessed, very lucky. I really hope one day I can go back and assist them and help them push their mission forward in the future if they'll have me.
Yeah, and actually, Zhang, I did want to ask you, glad you brought that up, Man of Tai Chi. I did want to go into that in the third segment, yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now, so you've reached the part where there's a clip that I'd like to show that essentially highlights your press work. So I'll show this clip. So it saves you telling them, because then the audience gets to see you in action while, because I know you're saying it helps when there's a visual. So I'll show that clip now that talks about that part of you working with Keanu Reeves, the likes of Keanu Reeves and Daniel Lee, and then we'll come back and talk about that.
Oh, no problem.
Is the first foreign action team who specialise in martial art performances, producing, directing and writing their own projects, from commercial work to short films and feature-length projects. Some of the notable directors and stars they have collaborated with are Keanu Reeves, Yuen He-ping, the action director of The Matrix, Jackie Chan and his team, Wang Baoqiang, along with many more. They have a complete production unit that houses some of China's top foreign cinematographers, illustrators, editors, producers, aerial pilots, and so on. They frequently work for and partner with world leader aerial cinematography specialist DJI. They have also worked for over 50 of the world's leading commercial brands, from Sony Entertainment to Toyota to Pizza Hut and Budweiser.
So there you have it. Now, you haven't seen the half of it, because that is just a small portion of what Troy is doing. The man is making a film every year. I can scarcely keep up with him. So we'll get back and he'll explain more of the films that he actually released one last year also. So we'll get back to that. We'll go to a commercial break first.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives. On today's world.
Thank you for joining us. We're back with Troy Sanford, all the way from Beijing, China. Yes, I do get around. I went all the way over there and shanghaied him. Here he is. It's midnight in China, and Troy is joining us live, and we're going to talk about, I want to ask you, tell me about the man of Tai Chi. That was your first film, and that was with Keanu Reeves, am I correct?
Yes, that's correct, yes. That was Keanu Reeves' directorial debut. He came to China and he shot that film starring Tiger Chen, who was helping him prepare and train all those years ago in The Matrix. So that was nice to brush paths with the legends.
Right. And so that was also, now, that was fantastic for you. Your very first brush with Hollywood, you jump right in. You know, who else would you want to do that with? Keanu Reeves is quite a phenomenal actor. I was browsing Netflix the other day, and this was so interesting. Just a couple days ago, I'm browsing Netflix, and this bit of action popped up on my screen. And I saw the person jumping as they're getting ready to fight, and I thought to myself, oh wow, that looks like Troy. And you know, it was a passing thought. And then I thought, it played a little more, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, that is Troy. And this was just so amazing that I'm browsing through, and you pop right up. And I'm talking about IP Man 4. Now I see, and I played the film, and I watched the clip, and I see your usual self, Troy. You're telling people about kicking their ass. But I guess that's what you do, right? In your business, yes?
Yeah, that's what we do, yeah.
Tell me.
But I ended up getting my ass kicked.
Well, again, as Kakao says, you know, the dirty secrets of stunt work, we make, and no, I'm not a stunt performer, but I trained with you a bit, so I kind of feel like I'm there a bit. Stunt performers, they make, and those of you in Hollywood know exactly what I'm talking about. You make the film and the actors look good. So even though on set it looks that you got your ass kicked, you and I both know you really didn't get your ass kicked. As you said, you perhaps could have kicked their ass in truth, right?
Well, the guy that I was getting my ass kicked by was Bruce Lee. So I think in real life he would have whipped me some. But yeah, maybe the actor is actually, I've done a couple of movies with him, the gentleman who played Bruce Lee. So I wouldn't want to pick a fight with him anyway. He's so sweet. He's such a lovely guy.
Well, did I hear you say you want a rematch?
Sweetness.
Did
Sorry,
I hear
one more
you say?
time?
Did I hear you say you want a rematch with your scene partner, the actor in IP Man, the fellow that played Bruce Lee?
I think I wouldn't take. Yeah, I wouldn't dare in real life, but an on-screen rematch, sure, no problem, anytime.
You know, we could put it out there in the universe. You know, Marvel Studios might be listening. We have Lionsgate and Marvel Studios right there in close to us in our backyard. You know, Robert Halmy, hello, hashtag. Tyler Perry. I know Tyler Perry doesn't do a whole lot of action, and maybe he might be interested in doing that, you know. The rematch, we can, now you're a director, filmmaker, cinematographer, stunt choreographer, performer, actor, you do it all. So there's a script we can write, the rematch. Are you with me on that one?
Yeah, you take the lead on that, I'll follow.
We're sure line it up. I mean, we are streaming live. Who knows who's watching, right? We could line that up. Now, I want to show, because I believe that this would be a great film. And we will go into the second clip that shows the work of Troy Sandford. Have a look.
Enjoy an insight into Troy's team's action classes and see what you may learn attending these unique sessions.
Stop. In this position here, your hips must elevate more. Push up, even more than you can bear. Your knees stack on top of your ankles. Your feet take the impact. If your hips hit the floor, boom, this is damage on your pelvis. You can crush your bone here. Flatten out your hand. Bring your hand here to take impact. Do it again. Watch his feet. Watch his hands. His feet, watch his hands. His hands slap the floor to take impact. His hip is up off the floor. It's nice and safe. Capitano, give him a clap.
Okay, what you saw there was Troy in safety in action. As we talked about, the whole topic of what we're talking here is the injury. 100% in this business, the injury rate. And as you can see, what Troy is doing in his studio is minimizing that. Troy?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, could we talk about your work in minimizing injury in stunt performance?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, just to talk about it generally, in Chinese acupuncture, we have a saying, prevention is better than cure. And so time is limited when you're on set. And for me, I'm a money guy. So I'm a creative, but I'm really into money as well. And I have to be, because I have to succeed the vision of the producer in every way possible. And many times you're rushing to try to get things done. And I know in America or Western film or the design of a production day, things are scheduled down to like a military format. Time is finite. It's not infinite, yeah. And so if you run out of time, you fail to execute certain shots, you fail to execute spectacles, you have expensive talent that you're paying for. One day in China on a high budget film, you're looking at maybe $200,000 wasted if you don't execute what needs to be executed in the appropriate amount of time for like a long-term project. So on average, we can say $200,000 for one day for a high budget project. And so with that said, things become rushed and then things become dangerous. And then people start to cut corners. So prevention is better than cure. You have to prevent the loss of money, and then you have to prevent the loss of, bad to say that, but you know, human life is critical. And if you're the stunt coordinator, or if you're coordinating or directing in any way, and you're responsible for anything action related, especially in China, if you're the head of the action department, they're gonna just put all the blame on you. So you have to be so sharp with safety procedures and protocols. And China's a little bit like the Wild Wild West when it comes to martial art choreography, design, and action. It's a little bit sporadic in its nature. And so I think if I was working in a Western format or a more Western type structure, you have everyone kind of considering safety first protocols. But in China, that it seems to me, at least in my experience, that only the lead action director or coordinator on set is really thinking about safety protocols and procedures. And so, yeah, with that said, it's like if you're working for an action director, you don't have to think much and worry about safety procedures, as crazy as that sounds within China. And I know it's not like that in the West, but in China, if you're the guy at the top of the pyramid, and if you're in charge and you're being paid for that, then you have to be so sharp. So it's kind of like if you're leading the pack in China, your brain has to be so sharp and fast and switched on, and you got to make sure that every tiny corner is not cut and such detail has been taken care of far before the time of execution required to do any such dangerous maneuver. And then it's not just about that either, right? You have to execute whatever the stunt is or the action requirement or the visual before the day runs out or the time runs out. And if you don't do that, then the producer will blame the director will blame you, it will all come back to you. So me, I'm always thinking, what does the producer need? And I try to work down from that point, and I try to make sure that everything that's asked of me is done, but I definitely don't do it outside the parameters of safety. And I make sure well before time, I always go ahead to scout. I make sure I have my notepad open right now as we do this talk. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking notes as we talk, actually. I always take notes. And why? So that I'm better prepared for the next time I do such a conversation online.
Yeah.
Or I can evaluate how I've spoken and I can look back at that. And so I'm very attention to detail, as you say.
And I've noticed, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you have to adopt that mentality. And I've learned in the past that some people have, me working in China under my command, they've hurt themselves. And like you say, it's 100% guaranteed that people are going to get injured. But for me, that's not good enough. And when those one or two people, they got injured, then I learned very quickly, don't trust anyone.
Right.
You can only trust yourself. And you have to really micromanage and mitigate risk well before the risk even has a chance to manifest itself on set. So I'm quite attentive to that. I could talk for hours about it, so I better stop there.
And you know, this is one of the things, and I think I mentioned this to you when I trained with you, that I was so impressed and I felt so comfortable working with you, because that is one of the things, as you say, it's paramount for you. Safety first, and I recall that even when we're doing the performances, you know, you have your different levels, and that was a big cautionary note for you. If you don't feel good and you're not at that level, here's a different level, this is what you can do. I really, really, really respect that, because yes, safety first, it is a job where there is 100% injury rate, and that's of paramount importance to protect yourself, protect your body. I really appreciate that. Now, you also direct your own films, and I can see all of that coming out in your films. So I want to go to one that's one of my favorites that you've written, directed, and starred in. And I would love to share that with the audience, because this is one of my favorite pieces with you. So we're going to cue up Shaolin Temple, and here's Mr. Troy Sandford at his best, doing everything, directing, producing, coordinating the stunts. Troy Sandford. Thank you for staying with us. We're here at 1061 Studios, live in Atlanta. We're streaming on Roku, Facebook, and YouTube. So join us. In fact, after our commercial break, we will open up the phone lines, and please feel free to call in. We're bringing you live from Beijing, China, martial artist, master martial artist, Troy Sandford. You just watched his clip, Shaolin Temple. And Troy, I have a question for you. Now, there's a duality to you. You are, on the one hand, super intense, super strict, very militant, and then every show I see with you, you interject this humor. That's so cute, and I absolutely love it. Tell me about that. Where's that come? Is that your Ninja Turtle influence showing there? Tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it is, yeah. I think when I was in Australia, I started to train martial arts, and my heart is very hungry for it. And we used to stand at attention. Our teacher would have us stand at attention when we bow into class. And then when I came to China, I saw that everyone here was far more skilled than I was. And I was the oldest. So I was training in Jet Li's School of Martial Arts. And everyone was kind of messing around, and they didn't really want to train martial art, but I really wanted to train martial art. And then I felt completely out of, like, no one stood at attention in Shanghai. They were just a bunch of kids, way younger than me. I'm already old. My athletic career is done. But I had to come to China anyway because I needed to fund it myself. So I had to come as an older guy, you know. So I'm the 23-year-old training with the 15-year-olds and the 16-year-olds and the 18-year-olds and the 19-year-olds. And they just wanted to have fun. They're just kids. They don't want to become martial art masters. They're just there to be there because their parents put them there. And so the teacher is militant in her approach, the famous Yu Laoshi. And there were some dangerous acrobatic movements, and I would just kind of make faces and pretend to be over the top, ridiculously militarily engaged, and then I would do some crazy tumbling or acrobatic drill, and the kids I would somehow make them laugh. I don't know. And I would start to act like a clown and flip around and act like a monkey. And then I realized it's just much better to just let loose and have fun, and you don't need to be rigid and militant. I think there's a time in your life where you're not highly disciplined. And I don't think anyone is born highly disciplined. It's a skill that you have to hone. And for some people, it comes as logic, which it did for me. And I drew strength from it. When everyone was out drinking and doing drugs in high school, I was in my garage boxing and doing push-ups. And so that it empowered my mind and my spirit. And then I am who I am now because of that. But I think at some point in life, you're forced to undertake the shackles of discipline. So you have to learn to shackle yourself to then sacrifice the now, so that then later you can have a greater freedom in the future. So that means maybe being a little bit more disciplined now will teach you how to make more money, so that later on in life you can be a little bit more free. And so I think inevitably we all hit points in our lives where we suffer because we haven't been disciplined enough, we haven't prepared enough. Like we said at the beginning, prevention is better than cure. And so I spent all that time heavily disciplining myself, training really hard, suffering injury, studying, learning how to overcome my own injury, then when I come to China, I just see, man, no one really wants to train here. They just want to have fun. And I thought I was so out of place being this weirdo from Australia trying to be all militant about it. And so I just let loose and just had fun. And at the end of the day, I've always enjoyed laughing a lot, like a lot. And I spend a lot of my time dancing now. Actually, I found dancing late in life due to COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
because of Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
yeah.
okay. And it's funny you
Yeah.
have all these mentors, and when I listen to you talking about it and the levity that you balance with the intensity, it reminds me of Jackie Chan, which, and you've worked with Jackie Chan also, and that takes me to, and you worked with Daniel Lee on your last film, Song of the Assassins.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know how that all played into that film. I know you played one of the major roles in the choreography there. So I'm curious to know, so tell us about that. Tell me about your work with Daniel Lee on Song of the Assassins. This came out in 2022. This is your latest film, am I correct?
Gosh, no, I think Yuan Ip Man. In the West, you call it IP Man. It's Yuan in Guangdonghua, and in Putonghua, it's Ip Man. And
I thought
sorry,
that was in
Yuan
2021.
No, that song, Yip Man, I think came out, we did that after Song of the Assassins. Song of the Assassins is quite some time ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
'Cause
yeah, Song of the Assassins is
on
older.
your IMDb
Yeah.
page, that's where it's listed.
Yeah, so a little secret is that the film, the Chinese government wanted to release a space odyssey. They put a lot of money into the space odyssey, and they knew that Song of the Assassins, because Song of the Assassins is based on a legendary fictional writer's work. So that was going to blow up and take the box office by storm. So they asked Daniel Lee to push that film back and put it in the closet for a couple of years, and then they pushed the other film at the time. So that's why it's released later on IMDb. But in actual reality, we shot that film way before Ip Man. Yeah.
So tell me about your work with Daniel Lee.
Yeah, so Daniel Lee, I mean, the work is great. He always allows me to use the fullest extent of my martial art on set. And then the final film comes out, and his films are very long. They're very operatic. He loves it. It's his style. And it's highly respectable. But then when you're doing a lot of action sequences, like we spent, I don't know, like 15 days just shooting pure martial arts sequences, like very high level Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style stuff. And then they cut nearly 80% of what we film, which is quite disappointing when the film comes out. But we saw the visual and the cut anyway of what we did. So we have it in here, and we're very proud of it. But we have some good footage, at least in the final product of the film. But what matters most is the challenge that came from that. And we were shooting in fake snow. So there was lots of powder and dust everywhere. And we were slipping around, and the costumes were heavy. And my staff was Chinese manufactured 10 kilogram ancient metal staff. They actually gave me a metal staff. It was quite heavy, and we were swinging that around. The guy that I was fighting in the film is the bad kid from the Karate Kid, with Will Smith's kid, Jaden Smith.
Jaden
So
Smith,
he grew
yeah.
up. So he's fighting. I'm fighting with him in that film. He's really great. Such an awesome guy to work with. So lots of really, and there's a very famous old Hong Kong martial art legend. There were actually 3 of them on set. It's like Daniel Lee just got all the biggest, baddest martial art wuxia guys from Chinese Hong Kong culture and put them all in that film. So for me, it was like a buffet of Chinese martial art legendary occurrences. And yeah, I think I got the best of it. But I think that was maybe one of the nicest films I ever did in China.
So you, essentially, you got your training and you got to practice for this rematch that we're going to shoot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yes, we're definitely going to work on that. Now, one of your latest projects you have launched, and you're about to launch your platform for teaching martial arts online, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because we're going to add that link into the bottom of this YouTube video, and we'll definitely add your link for your IMDb page where everyone can see all the films. You've done probably 18 films so far that I've seen online. I don't know if I mean, we haven't talked in such a while. I'm kind of missing out in bits and pieces here because I have the order of your film mixed up. I was looking at what it said on IMDb to get my information. So maybe I should get an IMDb about that, getting it all rearranged. But anyway, so it's there. We know where to find you. Tell us a little bit about that platform that you're about to launch. I looked at it. Fantastic work, by the way. And I'm really excited to get it started. In fact, I might jump on one of those classes. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So some time ago, we just started putting up some training sessions that I would do with my team. I would just teach them maybe some knife work, maybe some jiu-jitsu, maybe some taekwondo, maybe some wrestling. I would just teach random things, and we would shoot 10 to 15 seconds of what I was teaching my guys at the time. And then one of my team, they would upload these videos onto Instagram. They said, "Troy, do you have an Instagram?" I said, "No, oh wait, yeah, I do have an Instagram. Here, you just have the password, upload whatever you want. I don't really want to be on social media." It was a bit naive at the time. And they told me some days later that we're getting hundreds of thousands of views off one clip. And from there, we just kind of thought it was a good idea to keep making it. Since then, the following has grown quite organically. And since COVID, after COVID, the film industry, there's been a dynamic shift in China. There isn't too much happening here with film production from outside of China. So there's a lot of internal projects happening, which is great for the Chinese government. But for me, I want to expand more into different realms and different areas. And so one way for me to do that now is to simply, and the original goal from the very beginning was to take the martial art, attack it from a scientific perspective, and allow other people who are in parts of the world, like I was, where I didn't have access to higher level knowledge. And I would like to put that on the internet, and I would like to uphold my teacher's legacy and teach to the world what he taught to me. And so that's the plan, just to take whatever people are seeing on our Instagram and try to offer that and more. I'm also a qualified strength coach, internationally qualified strength coach. So I have good training history, and I've trained a lot of athletes over the time that I've been here, especially in Beijing, working with athletes local and also expat communities and embassy and military. And so it would be nice to finally share all of that and put that on the internet. So we're working very hard on that right now. In terms of the film world and aspect for the online platform, I don't know if it's a good thing. Maybe some people will try to hang me for it. But I will create a section on the website, because we have a lot of people contact us that want to try to come to China and enter the Chinese film industry. And me, I'm very happy to share contacts. I'm not this kind of guy who tries to hide contacts and information, and I just share everything. I'm not fearful of sharing. I think it can only help develop the industry to do so. So what I will do is I will put all the contacts which I've amassed. Oh, no problem. It's all good. So I will put all my contacts into a package on the website. I will also put the contact information of all the middlemen, the agents. I will give a description of who they are, how to approach them, how to contact them. I will record videos of myself just explaining my experiences in the film industry and how I went from A to Z or 1 to 10 or whatever have you. And like this, if you ever want to come to China, you go online, click on that package, and then you have a direct line and link, and already you have a good understanding about the film industry here and how it works.
And you're saying all of that will be on your platform?
Yeah, that'll all be there, so you'll all have access. It's just a matter of time. So we're working on different sections of the website currently. It's time consuming, but eventually I will do that. And then I will put all of my action directing, stunt protocols, how I coordinate, create fight sequences, my tips and advice on how to work with a coordinator and a director when you go to set, and how to create your own action sequences. I will create this content and in time put that on the website as well for anyone who's interested.
Okay, so, fantastic, and I'm glad that you've mentioned that, because as you know, here at 1061 Studios, Short Film Universe, the mission of what we're doing is global collaboration with filmmakers around the world. And this is again one area that you and I really hit it off and see eye to eye, because it's exactly what we're doing here. We're sharing the information. You know, we don't have any impetus here to hide it and have it a secret. We have global filmmakers who come on and they share their information with the world. We pass that on. It's all in the video. It's in the description box. All the information is there, and I absolutely love doing that. And I love the fact that this is what you're about also. And so we're promoting, again, global collaboration with filmmakers, global instruction. As you mentioned, if anyone wants to come to Beijing and work with you and have you train them or work on their set, or you travel around the world, I know that you have an absolute love for the United States. So maybe, I mean, I'm just throwing this out there, you know, if we get Robert Halmy and Kevin Feige and Tyler Perry together in a room and we sit down and have a discussion, I don't know, you know, good things could come of that. I'm not trying to start something, but you know what, wait a minute, maybe I am trying to start something. That is what I'm doing. Yes, so hashtag Tyler Perry, Kevin Feige, and Robert Halmy. I think we need the remake, the rematch. We'll call it that for now. That's our working title. And definitely look at what Troy is doing, a master in the business, and he's open to traveling. He's open to working on your set down in Beijing. You've seen his press package, phenomenal work. And if you're not thoroughly convinced, I have a clip I'd like to show at this point where you'll see some more. This is my favorite part of Troy's work, some of the work that I've seen that I'm able to grab, because of course Netflix won't let me grab anything. So have a look at this clip from Troy.
Troy's team, a group founded by Australian actor-filmmaker Troy Sandford. Troy moved to China in order to remain close to the heart of what he believes to be the core of martial art. Here, he seeks and absorbs knowledge from masters worldwide, fulfilling his childhood dream to convert his passion into meaningful stories, fueled by the philosophy of martial art. In doing so, he created the action team known as Troy's team, now a common name amongst some of China's strongest film companies and industry professionals. Troy and his team opened their world-class strategies and training methods, from filmmaking to everything martial art related. Their goal is to expand martial art by any means necessary. They train and teach any hungry performer, martial artist, filmmaker, cameraman, or anyone invested in developing their means to crystallize action from the set through to the screen and into the hearts of the international audience.
thank you for staying with us. We're back live in the studio, 1061 Studios in Atlanta. Our guest here from Beijing, China, Mr. Troy Sandford, master martial artist. You've heard, as we explained, he has an online platform that you can learn from him. You've seen his work. He's looking to collaborate with you. He's eager to, he loves United States, wants to come and collaborate with you. And of course, what we're doing here in studio is highlighting filmmakers around the globe like yourself. Give us a call at 1061 Studios or send us an email, info@1061productiontv.com. We'll have all that information in the description box for you. All the information of where you can contact Troy in Beijing, the online class, everything will be there for you. Again, Troy, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home at midnight. I know that's sacred, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, for taking the time to be on air with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for your time. It's very kind of you. And again, God bless all the veterans on your Memorial Day.
Thank you, and thank you again to all the veteran service members and remembering those who gave their life in action. Our segment today was about action and risk and safety in action in the work that you do. And especially, I want to say thank you to the people that support the service members. We haven't forgotten you. That's a critical part of this, because without that support, we know that they couldn't do what they do. So thank you so much. This day is your day also. A huge thank you to my producer, Felix Washington, for making all this happen and doing all his magic behind the scenes for me. Thank you so much. Thanks, Felidia, the PA, that's on set with us today. And a great thank you to our audience members. Like and subscribe, share. We're here every Monday at noon and every Thursday at 5 p.m. That's all Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to seeing you. You can watch the video again on YouTube at our channel, Short Film Universe, and you will watch Troy in action and his information on his website and in his class. That will all be in the video, in the description box for you. Thank you, thank you. Have a lovely Memorial Day. God bless.
Welcome to Short Film Universe, the show that celebrates the art of short filmmaking. Join us as we take you on a journey through the exciting world of independent film. In each episode, I'll be interviewing some of the most innovative directors, producers, and filmmakers in the business, getting their insight and perspective on the craft of short filmmaking. We'll look at drama, comedy, documentaries, even mockumentaries, and all the genres that make up this exciting industry. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be entertained. This is Ennamorgan inviting you to join us at Short Film Universe.